Hey, your bros and my folks, the hell's going down? It's only back here today on Cod of War. Not God of War, but Cod of War, because Kratos is a fish. Anyway, we are back on part 4. Now, this is going to be a special 50-minute long episode where I do stroll through doing my thing, showing you guys what's what on God of War 2. We'll be skimming through this now. If you guys aren't up to speed so far on what I'm doing with this series, this is a bonus play series, hence the COD outfit that I got for beating the game. So in bonus play, we actually get to play through the whole game with everything we've unlocked in the previous gameplay. That includes, red orbs, our health bar, our magic bar, all of our magic abilities, as well as all of the weapons in the game. So, without any further ado, we're going to get into it here. So far in God of War 2, we have been betrayed by Zeus, escaped the underworld, and we're now on a journey to find these Sisters of Fate and change our destiny. Basically what Kratos is trying to do is go back to where Zeus betrayed him and killed him, to undo that and kind of make it go differently. So hopefully that will be what happens, which I know it's what happens because I already beat the game and all, but you guys may not know that. So anyway, if you guys didn't play God of War 1 and don't know what's going on with God of War 1, feel free to go check that video out on my channel. I did upload one video for God of War 1 that covers all of the cinematics. It's actually all the cinematics in God of War 1 put together in a 25-minute long video, so you guys can see what the story is about so far up to this point. I'm really excited for the new God of War to be coming out on PS4. Although I don't have a PS4, I think I might just have to buy one just to play that. But so anyway, I'm really excited about those. I did play God of War and God of War 2 back in the day, probably about 10 years ago when I was maybe 12. I don't even know. It was a long time ago, and I loved them. So now I'm playing back through them. But I'm also going to be covering some of the prequels that they came out with that I'm not really, too familiar with, and that would be Chains of Olympus, which is set place right before the first God of War, and then Ghost of Sparta, which is set between God of War and God of War 2, and then God of War Ascension, which is set even before Chains of Olympus, so that's set way back, that's gonna be really fun. That's Kratos escaping the Furies from whenever he first betrayed Ares. So after that, we're going to be tackling God of War 3, and I'm really excited to play God of War 3 because the end of God of War 2, let me tell you, is just freaking amazing. Now, I did beat God of War 2 here in just a few days, and I'm playing back through it again with all the puzzles fresh in mind. I know how to do all of them really quickly, so that's basically what I'm doing here, just trying to show you guys how to get all the puzzles done really quickly, no confusion. I'll be showing you guys how to collect all the urns of power that you can activate in bonus play for special stuff like infinite Titan Rage and infinite magic, and like there's one, I think it's the Urn of the Gorgons, that allows your weapons to turn enemies into stone, so that's pretty cool. Just by hitting them, you have a chance of turning them to stone. But too bad they don't have a urn that turns them into stonely. Anyway, that was a bad joke, but I'm really excited. I can't tell you enough how excited I am for the new God of War. With Kratos having a son, Atreus, I think it's going to be amazing to have a God of War where you actually have an ally at your side the whole game. I mean, assuming he's there the whole game. Hopefully he doesn't die or something. So where we're leaving, the temple that we're leaving right now is the Temple of Lachesis, and Lachesis is actually one of the Sisters of Fate. Now we're going into the Bog of the Forgotten. And I accidentally skipped a cutscene by rolling really fast, but it was a small cutscene. There wasn't much to it. It was just showing that a horse and somebody on a horse came by, and we're basically being dragged behind it right now. But if you guys are familiar with the first God of War, or at least Kratos' story, you'll know who this guy here is. He's actually the barbarian that Kratos killed whenever he first called upon Ares. So this was a major turning point in Kratos' story.
I have fought my way through the Guardians of Hades and crawled my way out of the fires of torment to change my fate. And for my efforts, the sisters shine their light upon me, delivering the very object of my vengeance, Kratos. The servant of Ares. Do you remember that day, Spartan? I will never forget that day. This time, Ghost of Sparta, I will have your head.
So, like I said, this is the barbarian. I think his name is Elric or Ulrich or something like that. And he is about to kill Kratos. This was the one fight Kratos was about to lose. And then he called upon Ares for help. Ares basically made Kratos pledge his, not soul, but kind of like his servitude to Ares. Then he would kill all of his enemies. So Kratos, he pledged his servitude to Ares, and in exchange for his life. And Ares killed all of the barbarians and allowed Kratos to kill this barbarian. So this barbarian is also in search of the Sisters of Fate, straight out of the underworld, to change his destiny back to the day Kratos killed him. So his hammer actually is infused with souls from the underworld, which I think is pretty cool. And if upgraded, whenever we have it, we could actually do the same thing. So now, since I'm in bonus play, I've actually maxed out this this hammer. And I have the souls abilities. One is you just flick the right stick and you get to send one out. And the other is that smash I just did there, where it sends out like 3 souls at a time, I think. And so I figured I might as well fight the barbarian with the barbarian's weapon here. See how that goes.
No, not you again!
Let the rage of the Titans drive your blades, Kratos.
So, I don't actually like using the hammer. I'm going to switch back to the Blade of Olympus. As I'm making this video, I'm actually in the middle of playing, what is it? Chains of Olympus. And it's pretty cool. I do like, it's kind of, okay, so the thing about Chains of Olympus is it was made for PSP. So it's a little bit different. The graphics, they're really nice and refined, but it's weird because you can tell that it was made on the PSP. The rolls are a little weird. It's not as open as this one, which I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's like almost more straightforward, but it's still nice. It's still nice, and it's got a really nice storyline to it. It's kind of a side storyline. And I'm thinking Ghost of Sparta is going to be the same way. So if you step in that gaze of Medusa right there, you'll actually be frozen. So what we have to do is go get the Golden Fleece, which we'll take off of someone that we fight here in a little bit. It'll actually be a boss fight.
You, warrior, help me!
And whenever we get the Golden Fleece, we'll reflect that gaze back into the gate to open it. But right here, I should be finding the key, Medusa's key. Oh, Euryale's key. Okay, so the thing is, Euryale. This is Euryale's place, not Medusa. Euryale is one of the Gorgon sisters, but we actually killed Medusa in the first God of War. She wasn't much of a boss fight. She was like a mini boss, not even. It was like really quick. She wasn't even big, so a lot of people wouldn't even know that she was Medusa because they kind of played her importance. But Euryale knows Kratos killed Medusa, and she is not very happy with him. So once you get that key, you're going to want to head this way, and there's not very many puzzles this way, so I'll just kind of go through it as quickly as possible. There will be, however, the urn of the Gorgons, the urn of Gorgons or whatever. It's one of the urns of power that turns enemies into stone just by hitting them with a weapon. So I'll show you guys how to get that here in a little bit when we get there. I still say my favorite magic move has got to be Kratos' Rage, for sure. Especially once you upgrade it, where it has like where the center of it implodes whenever it's done. Alright, so this statue here isn't important, just get it out of the way. It's nice to keep it on this side, because later on this is actually a small puzzle. Just tip the thing over, but we'll actually be knocking another statue into here. So, but actually to get the statue on there, we'll have to have that statue on the other side. So scratch what I said about leaving it on the side, I just left it on. If you push it to the other side, well, you'll see later, but that's actually where we're going to need it. Then we move it to the side I had it on just now. Okay, so a thing about these grapples, if you guys are watching me and playing this too, if you're trying to grapple here, make sure you hold down R1 for like a more lengthy grapple. Like it'll sling you even further if you hold it down. I didn't know that. I was just pressing it once and it was kind of like flimsy grapples. Well, there's one point later on this episode I'll show you that I kept doing that and it wouldn't work, and I finally figured out that if you hold it, you get more of a grapple, and then I finally figured out the puzzle that I was stuck on. I just wasn't holding down R1 enough. Also, keep an eye out for these puddles of whatever the crap this crap is. So we will actually be killing Euryale in this episode. She is here in the Bog of the Forgotten. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn these urns on. I've been waiting to do this for a while. It gives us unlimited magic. I turned on one that gives us infinite rage to the Titans. And what was the other one I turned on? Oh, 10 times the red orbs. Okay, so this puzzle, I got stuck on here for about 30 minutes on my first playthrough. If you guys are playing this and are trying to figure out how to do this, you're going to come over here, pull that lever I just pulled, break this wall, throw this body in this river here. Now this river actually circles back around to the opposite side. And once it does that, we'll have to go over there, break this wall, catch that body in the stream. Should be coming around here any second. Here it goes. Throw it on this button right here next to it. That halfway opens the door. Then stand on this button and you're gonna have to rush in. Simple as that. Now the urn of the Gorgons is it's pretty close, but we won't actually be able to get it until later, so we're gonna have to come back to this point here in a little bit when I show you guys. Okay, so I know we're not quite to Euryale yet, but since this whole area is surrounding the Euryale boss fight, I'm going to go ahead and try to fill you guys in a little bit about what she is and who she was in Greek mythology. So she was the second oldest of the Gorgons, which, if you guys aren't familiar with the Gorgons, they are the, the sister, well, they're the They're the sisters with like the the snakes as hair that turn you into stone. Her sister Medusa is the one that most people know, and Medusa in Greek mythology actually died from Perseus, so we'll actually find Perseus here pretty soon. Alright, so this is what I was talking about. You're going to want to pull this statue to this side, then kick this statue in, and then kick that other statue back to the other side. Basically, we want to tilt this little platform as far that way as we can so that we can grab it on this side and flip it over.
God of War. Jason. That beast took him. All our men are dead. Jason has the fleece. You must save him. The fleece is the key to Medusa's temple.
Alright, so he mentioned the name Jason. Jason is actually the leader of the Argonauts, and their whole story that people are familiar with is finding the golden fleece. So he just said Jason has the fleece, and they took him. We'll need that fleece. That's the fleece I was talking about earlier that we'll have to open up that Euryale door with here in just a little bit.
No, what are you doing? I need your help.
Now this guy, we actually throw him under there to break that, and then we go in there. But yeah, so that guy's an Argonaut. All these soldiers around here laying around dead are Argonauts of Jason's to find the golden fleece. Jason is somewhat of a demigod. He's almost like a grandchild of one of the gods. Hermes. He's the great-grandson of Hermes through his mom's side. So if you guys aren't familiar with Hermes, that's the god of, you know, delivering messages and stuff.
This golden fleece has the power to deflect approaching weapons and thrust them back to those who deliver them.
All you have to do to block there, what I did was press L1, the left bumper. Alright, so before we open the door, now I want to show you guys what we need to do to go back and get the urn of the Gorgons, which is, it's back where I showed you guys. Now that we got the fleece, we'll deflect one of the Medusa gaze traps back at the wall to break it, and then we'll pick up the urn. Alright, so it's coming up right here, and these traps coming up. I think the first wall is just a regular old chest, but this wall here is the chest with the urn of power in it. And I'm just going to turn that on real quick. So with the Urn of Gorgons, it doesn't instantly freeze them. It kind of slows them into a freeze. It's like a gradual petrification. So there are parts like this where it's just kind of drawn out and slow. So yeah, don't expect to hear a whole lot from me at points like this. One thing that does keep happening to me though on these God of War videos is some of the soundtrack on here and some of the points where there's music playing in the background, they like to have copyright claims on them. So I do have to actually remove those songs in the process of uploading them. Sometimes it doesn't remove it correctly, and I actually have to mute that whole section. So if there's ever a video where, you know, I'm muted for a minute or so, it's because of copyright issues. So here's the big bad Euryale.
You killed my sister.
You see, she mentioned that we killed her sister. So easy as that, she's dead. Alright, so this puzzle here, it's really not that tricky. This is the part where I was talking about earlier. I didn't realize that you had to hold down the grapple button to grapple further, and it took me quite a while. I think I ended up turning it off one night and coming back to it the next day just to figure it out then, because it took me so long. But it's really not hard if you guys just bear with me. I might fall a couple of times, but you will get the hang of it. Alright, so this is where the whole puzzle kind of gets a little bit tricky. Basically, it's all in the grapple. Just making sure you do the grappling right. So after you clear out these enemies, you're going to want to raise this lever, which I'll show you, which raises the pillar beside you. And then, like I said, I'll probably fall a few times, but you're supposed to grapple through all of the pillars before this pillar goes down, because this is the last pillar that gets you to the next room. It's kind of irritating whenever you can't do it. You have to go all the way back to that room. Just make sure, the only thing here you have to make sure you're doing is holding down R1 correctly as you're swinging, and that'll get you all the way there. And do your double jumps. Alright, I'm not gonna lie, this first time I played this a few days ago, this freaked me out. I didn't know if I messed up and I thought I was about to get squished. But there's actually a sequence you press circle on. It's one of those button smashing sequences. You have to press it over and over again. And you just have to keep throwing it down. And there will be enemies coming from the ceiling vent up there. You can see how it opens for a second. If you just do Kronos Rage right there, it'll kill it before they even fall down. So I thought I'd be ballsy and try to jump across, but that obviously didn't work very well for me. Anyway, dudes, that's pretty much it for part 4. Stay tuned for more God of War, or Cod of War, where we play as Kratos the fish. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the series. At least if you're not enjoying the Let's Play part of it, hopefully you're getting something out of the walkthrough side. So, yeah, anyway, dudes, I will catch you guys on the flip-flop.
Do